202 or something like that. I was a gunshot victim in 95. I had a paranoid schizophrenic shoot me 21 times with a .22 rifle. And so I'm going to go through the story. I was very blessed to meet him over there at Ronald McDonald. I thought that was a man of his stature and his relationship with Christ in a position like that was awesome to me to meet and to see the incredible things they're doing. Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes, sir.
How long do I have?
You got till 20 minutes till 12.
Okay. I'll give you
20 minutes till 11. Sorry, 20 minutes till 11.
I want to give you kind of a backdrop of how this all came to be. About 2 years prior, maybe 3 years, was about 3 years prior to me getting shot. About 2 years. We had a neighbor beside us, and he, we didn't know he had issues. We didn't know anything. Nobody told us anything, but he got shooting a gun, and he was shooting a gun every day. And it's like, and I would come home, and she would be crying because this guy was shooting a gun every day. And not just shooting a gun, he was shooting so you could see leaves fall off trees in the backyard and stuff like that. So we called the police department, and they were the sheriff's department in Person County, and they would say he has his rights, so we had nowhere to go. Then he got aggressive dogs, and then we went over there, we called animal control, and they said, we can't do anything about it. Shoot the dogs, he has his rights. And I said, you have World War II over here, do you understand what's going on? And it got worse. So then we went to the county commissioners. And the county commissioner's lawyer told us that we could spend $2,000 that would amount to nothing, but you understand, he has his rights. And we're sitting there and we're saying, well, we don't have any. But I'm not moving because my place is paid for. It may not have been much of a place, but it was my place. You know, you can go so far, but then you have to make a stand, and so I made one. And I'm a holy roly, okay? Give you a text. But I go to the summit there in Durham, as you know, the summit. And so my wife, Fran, her real name is Brenda, but she goes by the name Fran. She wanted me to move, but I was not going to move because that was my house. We couldn't make any inroads with this man. It just got steadily worse. So what she did, for these people that may understand where I'm going now, she would take oil and she would walk down the line there, and she was praying over the border of our house because we needed something deeper and bigger than what was going on. So one day, I came home and she said, the Lord wants me to tell you something, but I really don't want to talk to you about it because I just don't want to tell you this. She said, but the Lord told me he's going to stop shooting. And I was a real holy roly man. I said, right. Well, he did. He stopped shooting. He shot one time more, and then he moved away. And we were very, very happy for about 12 months. I was coming home from work one day. I was a vendor. I was working in, that day I worked in Cary, and I worked in Raleigh. And I was selling TVs on consignment coming out of Duke. So I went by Duke and I picked up a check, and I went home. When I went home, I'd left my oldest son over there, he was 18 years old, and picked up some checks. So when I pulled in the driveway, I could see Fran on the couch. I seen the lights on. And it was 9:30 at night. It was the 31st of August in 95. And when I pulled up, time I stopped the motor, somebody pulled behind me, and I just knew it was my oldest son, and I was curious about what he wanted. And so when I finished doing the little computer thing in the truck, I got out, I walked around to see what, thought that was Jonathan. And I saw, well, Jonathan, it was the guy that had been doing all the shooting. And he said to me, as he was coming out the door, and he said a rifle, because I could see the clip, and there was a rifle. And he said to me, he said, boy, you're not going to talk about me anymore. And I said, well, if I go to the front of the house, I'm dead, man, because there's too many lights. But if I can get around the corner of the house, maybe I got a shot. I'm a fat guy, I don't run too fast. I wasn't quite as fat then, I was maybe 25 pounds lighter. But being fat has its advantages. So I took off running. And I always heard if somebody shot you with a 22, and I didn't know what kind of rifle we had, could have had anything, that if you got hit with a 22, it really wouldn't bother you so much. Well, that's pretty much a lie. So the first time he shot me in my right leg right around here. And it knocked me down. And somewhere, I mean, he kept on shooting me. He just shooting and shooting. And somewhere down the line, I had a, and you can read in that article I gave you, out-of-body experience. I had a woodshed over there, and I could see myself over there, and I was looking at myself over here. And I was telling myself, I said, you need to move. You need to move. He's killing me. He's killing you. And I had a 92 Plymouth Voyager, and I was trying to get up under the car to get behind the tire to quit them bullets from hitting me. But I couldn't get under there. I was too fat. And then it was like I came back as one. And I remember I was standing up, and I was right in the front of my vehicle right here, at the driver's side. And this guy was right there at the fender on the passenger side. And then Fran came out on the porch. And I looked at him, I said, man, don't shoot me no more. And she come up there and she said, please don't kill my husband. And I looked at that man's eyes, and he was void of nothing. He was like, he had no soul. There's nothing there. It was empty. And I knew he was going to shoot me, and I knew I didn't have nowhere to go. So I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, don't let him hit me in my heart and my head. And the man walked around, and he got around about 5 feet from me, and he held his gun and shot me from here around. A man my age forgets a lot of stuff. I was going to bring a calculator this morning. I even went to the office to get it and forgot it after I got there. It was kind of bad. I had a calculator in my breast pocket, and he took out the number 7 in that calculator, but the bullet didn't hit my heart. I had 2 bullets less than an inch and a half in my heart. He shot my diaphragm, and the mass of blood that I lost, most of it came from my liver that ended up around my heart. And they thought I probably had a gunshot wound in my heart, which is a fatal wound. But I never went out. So I'm hit the ground the last time. I couldn't get up. I was trying to get up. I couldn't get up at all. Just my body wasn't working. And Fran came out there, and I told her, I said, take the water hose and wash me. Because I was pooping all over myself. I had no control. I knew that's what you do when you've been hunting the animals day. That's what you do. You poop all yourself, and you're stinking, you're bleeding. It's gross, it's nasty. And she says to me, she said, I can't wash you. But I get a little pissed off. Because I didn't want to die like no dead, like a dog out there. Like that's not where I wanted to be. And then she disappeared, and she came back a little longer. And I said, give me something to drink. I'm thirsty. And she said, I can't give you nothing to drink. I said, here I am, stinking, dying, and thirsty. Your head still works when you think you're going okay. All those people that you think just instantly die, they don't most instantly go anywhere. When you talk to somebody in the hospital, you think they don't understand. You're probably more wrong than right. So I'm sitting there, don't see how I can live. And I have this thought in my head that's never left me. When you think you're dying, the only thing you want to do is live. You want to live, and you find out you have absolutely no control, such as we have today. We just have a perception we do. And this is what I'm going to mess you up, Fran. because I can talk about the tale of laying there and they put me on the thing and all that. I can tell that every time. But also somebody else that I never let talk her story. And this is my wife that was in the house. We had 3 kids. We had a 2-month-old baby. We had a 3-year-old child and a 6-year-old child in that house. And I had a wife that didn't know what to do. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you will, you sit down or you stand up.
I'll just sit right here, I guess. When I heard the shooting, I thought, gosh, that's really close. And so I got up and went to the door, and I saw Ethan standing there at the back of the van and Kenny at the front of the van, wanting not to shoot him, and I just screamed at him not to shoot him anymore, and I could tell he was just in the zone. He was just like nobody was home, and I knew he was going to. If I got in between them, then he was going to shoot me too. And so I backed into the house and shut and locked the door, and I just called out to God, and I said, Jesus, 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 what do I do? And I heard this voice that said, call 911, time is of the essence. So that's what I started doing. I started calling. The 911 was busy, so I called till I got him. And I told the guy what was going on, and told him I was going to go out there to see what shape Kenny was in. And he told me not to, and I said, well, I'm going to try. And so when I went out there, I saw him laying on the ground, and there was a puddle of blood, about like that. And, I didn't know. I know you can press down on the wound and slow down the bleeding, but I didn't know where to start. And I knew the rocks were sticking to the bottom of my feet because I was barefooted and the blood was sticky. And that was kind of annoying to me, and I was asking Kenny questions like, have you seen him anywhere? Why is he doing this? Has he said anything to you? And all that stuff. And he didn't know, and he hadn't seen him anywhere. And so we were just trying to figure out why out of the blue this man showed up and started shooting him. And he wanted me to help him up, and I couldn't help him up. And so the sheriff finally got there, and he was probably there in 5 minutes, and he asked me who shot Kenny, and then asked Kenny who shot Kenny, and I guess to make sure we said the same thing. And then the ambulance arrived, and I was trying to figure out how to go with Kenny. I couldn't ride the ambulance because I had 3 kids in the house, and they were all in the bed, and so I got my neighbor to watch the kids until my mom got there. She was about an hour away, and I had to make some bottles so they'd have, my baby would have that, and got a friend who lived 10 minutes down the road, and he came and picked me up and drove me to the hospital, and some people from church met us there. And the church was just outstanding. They stayed with us the whole time he was in the hospital. Somebody was there, and people would stay with Kenny at night, so I could go be with the kids because I was with him all day. And they kept. I had to make sure the nurses were not using silk tape because silk tape blistered his skin, and I mean it's just all kinds of stuff. And they were there. They just made a prayer circle in the big waiting room and just prayed over Kenny. And I had one lady, she was there, and she just would read scripture all night long. They said, well, if his blood pressure drops, it's like the second night. It says if his blood pressure dropped below 50, then he wasn't going to make it. So she read the scripture all night long, and we had some other people in there pray before they left, and in the morning his blood pressure came back up. And it was, people would show up and ask what they could do, didn't know why they were there, but wanted to know, is there anything they could do? And I would say something, and every need was met. they fed us, me and the family. I stayed with another family because I wasn't really comfortable going home by myself with 3 kids because we never knew what else was going to happen after that. And they would take care of my kids in the daytime, and I would come there and bring some food. Somebody would bring food to the hospital, and it would feed me and my kids and that family every single night the whole time he was in the hospital, 3.5 weeks. And just all our needs were met. It was just amazing. God was just really moving, and we'd never felt such love and grace the whole time of our lives up until that point. It was a bad thing that happened, but God turned it into a good thing.
You know, I was going to say what happened, that she was going through pushing on the inside, and if I was out there, and I never went out. They say I lost 7.5 liters of blood. I don't know how true that is. They say they recycle my blood. I don't know how true that is. All I know is I never went out. And the stuff that they said I never remember in the hospital 2 years later, everything came back to me, and I remembered everything. When the first responders got there, first thing they did, they cut off all your clothes. I had shorts on, they took a razor. It's like a scissors with a hook on it. They came up here and they did. That was there. To me, that was embarrassing. Even though you didn't make you live. Oh my gosh, all that stuff on your head. Okay. Your head, my head was, I wish that in my life, my brain worked as much as it did in those few minutes. Because every thought was pouring on. Every thought was a moment you didn't want to forget. Every thought was. And they had the first responders come over there, and I would say, ask them, I said, am I going to live? And they would turn their head from me. No, none of them never said I would. But God is merciful. He is awesomely merciful. His compassion's greater than anything you ever seen, and He's always on point. In that group of first responders, this guy a few years after that went on the mission field, and he was in Mexico, and he was praying for me. I didn't need medicine, I needed prayer, you understand? Medicine can take you so far, but God can take you a lot further. And then when I was numb on one side, and then they were looking at me and said, will give me a shot, looking at them that I was going to live. They put me on this board, and when they put me on this board, I thought I need pain, but I didn't know pain. Because I was hurting like you never could. I could never imagine hurting. So I was asking them to take me back off that board. But they wouldn't take me off the board because they had to put me in the ambulance. And they put me in the ambulance. They had 2 EMTs working on me. They had one on one arm, one on the other. They had me stretched out like this, and they were popping. And every time they pop a vein, they say collapse, 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 collapse. And they stopped twice. The third time they said, we got one. And they took off to the hospital and took us to Durham Regional. And we got there, they were working on you. They take you, give you x-rays, they sit you up, sit you down, all this kind of stuff, doing ultrasounds, the heart, and all kinds of stuff's going on. And I'll tell you something kind of funny. I didn't know Fran was in the room. This nurse kept coming around, she'd come around like this, she says, Mr. Vaughan, are you allergic to anything? I said, no ma'am, I'm not allergic to anything. A few minutes later, she come back around. She said, Mr. Vaughan, are you allergic to anything? Now I was getting kind of irritated. What are you going to do? They ain't doing nothing. So this lady came back around again, and she says, Mr. Vaughan, are you allergic to anything? I said, yes, ma'am, I think I am. She said, what's that? I said, bullets. I said, it's the worst reaction I've had in my life. I don't know her reaction.
Yeah, she started smirking then.
But she didn't come back around anymore. And then after a while longer, they took me upstairs. And they were doing all the stuff to prepare for me to be operated on. And then there's this, it was big from where I was, but this big black doctor, he smiled at me. He said, "Mr. Vaughan, we're fixing to do for you what you asked for all night long." And it went out. And the hospital stay is something else. I could tell you stories that would blow your mind. I could tell you stories about silk tape. They would put silk tape on me, and they would pull it off of me, and they would skin me alive in my line. I got scars on my body where all the skin left. They cut me from here to here, and the last operation, they operated on my arm and shot the elbow off on the side. I stayed in the operating room something like 12 hours. I got shot 31st of August. I got in the shower probably somewhere the 1st and middle of December, I'm correct. And she gave me baths. And we had babies. We had one 2 months old, we had one 3, one 6. And Fran would take me and lead me to a chair to sit in. And I had my little 3-year-old, she was my nurse. If I needed a urinal, I needed this, she'd run this. And she would take the kids to school, and I would sit there, and my little 3-year-old, but she'd be reading me stories and all that kind of stuff. I really don't know how we made it, because it's tough. When she had 4 babies, and I might have been the biggest one. We had gunshot wounds that she had to tend to for a very, very long time after I got shot. And that was every night. There was
Every day. Whenever they saw the pad.
Yeah. I had an ileostomy bag on my side. You back up some point in my life, we have familial polyposis in my family's hereditary colon cancer. You know anything about it? My mama died when she was 34. I was 14. I woke up in the hospital and I had this bag on my side. I could not address that bag. I could not get my head around it. When they asked me to teach me how to take care of myself with that bag, I told her to teach her, because I didn't want to, it's like, I didn't want it to be part of me, you know what I'm saying? Because I always knew, I've lost about 8 people with colon cancer, so I knew the end results, what it looked like, I knew what it smelled like. And I had my first operation when I was 19 years old, had most of my colon removed. I had checkups from that time when I was 19 years old up to this point in time. And this all happened in a few weeks. I went to the doctor, had this thing removed. And the doctor told me over at Duke, he said, he did a burn on him. I come back, he says, you'll never get rid of that bag. He said, you got a copper stone pattern of polyps consistent with colon cancer. You have other operations, you always have this bag. He said, you can get another opinion. I said, you ain't giving me one. So I went to Duke, and they told me I was a good contestant for, excuse the language, anal pull-through is what he called it, and then they called it a J pouch. So the following year, I had 3 operations, because one operation they kind of screwed up and had to go back in me. So it was about 3 years there. It was like every time you looked, you were going over to Duke, get checked in. It was like going to a hotel. And during that same time, when he told me I had that, me and Fran, we had 10 months without no money. I was not a rich man by no stretch. So we were going down the street one day, and then me going down and trying to see if we could get any help from social services. So we went in there, and I invested some room houses just so I could someday retire, because I didn't see Social Security being viable to me. And I went in there, and a lady told me, she said, we can't help you none. She said, unless you put your stuff, which you want much stuff, in somebody else's name, they will could open the door. And I said to her, I said, whose name would you put your stuff in? And she said, nobody's. I said, why do you think I'm not foolish? So I walked away from there for no money. And then I went to unemployment office, and I went in there, and they looked at me, and they said, "You're not subject to work. We can't give you anything." I got fired about the same time. Everything happened, boom, boom, boom. When I came out of the hospital, spiritually, I was high as you could ever get. Because it made no sense I was living. The sad thing about people is people look at Scripture and they say they could never be one of those people. Trust me, if the pressure gets strong enough, you'll look just like every one of them. You're no different. I sit there, a 42-year-old man, no job, 3 kids, uneducated. That was reality. I installed TVs in hotels and all that for forever. I did not want to go back to that because I wanted to be at home, but then I had to go back to the same trip. We had off and on terms of making money, not making money. And I had more failures than Shake Stick, and I could write a book of failures. And I thought it was faith. Faith and fear sometimes look so close together you can't tell them apart. Outside of faith, it will be fear. Even if you've endured such circumstances that don't make any sense. So, Fran came up to me one time, and she said, "What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" We had bills paid, nothing going on, because I knew I couldn't go to Walmart and be a breeder and supply my family's needs. I know it won't happen. I've had bags on my side crawled up on the house, a whole lot of stuff to make ends meet. And I told her, I can remember like yesterday, about 7 years ago, and I said, if I have Jesus and I lose everything, I'm going to find peace with it. Peace with it. The man part of me had to die. The arrogant, prideful man part. God was waiting for that. That year we made $600 and some thousand. You understand? I was standing in the way. God never wanted me to get on disability. I walked away from that because he told me to. In 5 years, he worked on me so hard. I walked away from disability because I was still dragging this left leg, which they said I always have nerve damage. After I walked away from disability, 6 months later, he healed this leg. I still have nerve damage. I can feel the bottom. I can touch my knee and lightning will run out of the bottom of my foot. Before I stayed on my feet 2 hours a day, I could stay on my feet 10, 12 hours a day. I had to run away from what I could see as security and let him be my security. You know, am I making any sense? God took this ignorant Warren County boy that hardly got out of school, that weren't worth saving. I was not worth the blood of this Jesus that chased me. He chased me. I was not in a church looking for him. He went to a hotel and found me. He let us endure 2 miscarriages to get her to chase him. Am I right, Francis? Jesus uses a tool to change you, chase you, and make you. He had to make me walk away so when I made money, it don't make no difference to me. My business did $2 million last year. And I don't even know what we do. You understand? If he knew what I do, I'd be prideful, I could be boastful. I can say he is awesome God. He is more God than you ever seen. He will be. I got a word for you. Can I give you a word? I woke up this morning and God gave me something. I don't know who this is for. I don't think it's just for me. He said God gives us a measure of faith. That's every one of his children. He gives you a measure. So here's Satan. If you have a void in faith, Satan will instill fear, and it will exist in you. When Satan sees you weak in faith, he will overcome that measure of faith and give you doubt. And doubt will start to occupy the space that he gave you faith to be able. He says we're more than conquerors. More than conquerors. He says that we can do anything with him. See, we get this idea that if we're educated enough, if we're this enough, if we're that enough, that we can accomplish all this. I can say this, if you ain't got none enough, you got Jesus enough, you can. Am I out of text? I'm talking about Jesus. I'm talking about the Holy One. If you see me worship, you'll see this old fat guy dance. Because my man David, my favorite brother David, he used to dance and his wife didn't like it too much. But she paid for it. I get excited about Jesus. I don't come to church because I want to. I come to church because I have expectancy. Because the Bible says if 2 or 3 of us are gathered together, anything's possible. One thing about faith is, he ain't got to do nothing. But if you believe it, he got to show up. He gives us promises. His promises are, if you can hold on to them through circumstances and tribulations, those promises have to become truths. If they never become truths, it's not because he dropped the ball. He made a covenant with us. I've broken about every covenant I ever had. He's never broke his. I break my end on his, but he never breaks his. He's worthy. You understand? He's worthy. I'm a freak. I'm a Jesus freak. I'm as freakful as you can get. They tell me I got to have my leg operated. I'm so crazy I believe this Jesus is going to heal it because he healed my other part of my body. I left the hospital, they said I had 30% use, I'd be healed. I left the hospital with 9% use. Sometimes I don't see the love of people. This is where I'm going to love you, brother. I'm going to love you up one side or the other. You ain't going to understand love. I'm in valleys so low that you found nobody there. When the newness of my getting shot was there, it was more people to shake a stick at. When the newness was gone, it was lonely as any desert you ever been in. You understand? I've been a giver ever since Jesus saved me because I was not worth saving. And it was real to me. Kind of bad when some people don't even know they got saved. I know that he changed me. And I know getting shot's the best thing that ever happened to me because he changed me again. Money don't mean to me nothing to me. People. I love people. I run to people that are hurting. And I don't give them. I spoke at the Baptist Church one time, never asked me to speak back again. And this is a message I gave them. And I don't like it for one guy. One guy shook my head and asked me, he said, you speak all the time, you're very passionate. And he was somewhere in Raleigh. I said, if you don't never want to give nowhere else, when you go to those hospitals and you see those people in the elevator riding up and down, and they got loved ones and they got kids and they got all the stuff, I love your place over there. And they ain't got nothing. My mama died when I was 34, my daddy went broke. I had all these Christians tell me what a simple man he was, but I never seen one give him a dime. Never did. Never did. Can call it the sin, but could never give, you understand? That struck me when I was 10, 11 years old. When I got older and went to do the stuff, it struck me again. I said, where are we? We're the richest country in the nation. There's money everywhere. People love themselves, they love themselves, love stuff. The Bible says, love yourself. I mean, this says I'm crazy. Love God, and it says love your neighbors yourself. So I said, Lord, I said, you don't have with us. Go to the hospital, see these people coming off the elevator, they ain't got nothing. They hurting and all. I said, reach in your pocket and give them some folding stuff. Please don't give them that jingly stuff. Give them something that means something. Because I guarantee you, 99% of them would love for you to show that much Jesus to them. They don't need welfare. When the Lord took me away from Social Security, He told me, He said, you don't need Social Security, you need my security. We don't need someone to go over there and give them a phony Christ when it's a real Christ that has provided for us beyond measure. And that's what I love your place over there. You know, when my man came over there, it was with me, and I told you, if you knew his story, it would blow your mind, because I go to the people that ain't got nothing. I go to the people that's over there. I work all in projects everywhere. He said, I need to see that. You understand? He needed to see how you take people in that ain't got nothing and provide a way for them. You don't know how beautiful that is. You don't know how, oh my God. That's just it, man. If I can give you anything, love your neighbors yourself. Not no phony love. I am convinced in my head, if we took that scripture and we really mean it, it would not be another side of town. It would never be. It could not be. Love is greater than any hate it ever was. Greater, love conquers division greater than anything. Have we seen enough? Have we seen enough? I'm sorry if I went over.
You good? Will you close us in prayer?
I want you to pray for me. I came here for you to pray for me.
All right, I'll do it.